ladies and gentlemen. This is Tim Ferriss, and this is yet another edition of The Random Show. So what nectar of the gods are you suckling over there?
I'm having a little bit of the mascot from Napa Valley, the Harlan family.
I am drinking, I don't know if you've ever seen this before, this thing, which I'm
No.
drinking. It's this little can of R13 Ginger Mule Hard Ketones. So this is ethanol-free
Jesus.
alcohol. Hold on. I have other ethanol alcohol
You're drinking
as well.
hard ketones now? That's
Hold
where
on.
we're at?
Pause.
Okay.
Don't knock it until you've tried it.
I'm not going to say anything.
So R13 butanediol. I know where you're gonna take that. So the R13 butanediol. A few things. Number one is you do get drunk on this stuff. You cannot drive if you drink this stuff.
Like all alcohol, pretty much.
Like all alcohol, but the point being that it is not ethanol, so you are avoiding some of the metabolites and issues through liver metabolism that you run into with regular alcohol. It is also an appetite suppressant, so if you're used to drinking and then just housing 5 pizzas, like I did the other night, then this is a counterbalance.
It speeds you up though. It's ketones, right? So it's like Coke.
Well, here's
alcohol.
the thing. It's ketones, but it's not beta hydroxybutyrate or a performance enhancing ketone. This is a hard ketone intoxicant. So you have to be very careful. They have warnings, no pregnant ladies, etc. All this stuff. Do not consume more than 3 per day.
God, dude.
You
This sounds like bad.
legitimately get intoxicated. I have been enjoying experimenting with this because what I will sometimes do, and I haven't done this much, but I will have one of these. I am not involved. I have no problem hawking the stuff when I am, but this is actually very tasty. So ginger mule tastes like a Moscow mule, but it has no ethanol based alcohol in it. And here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to have this first, hopefully, and this is, I think, perhaps wishful thinking, but I'm hoping the ketones will have some neuroprotective effect. So let's just say I can pregame with one of these, get to a point where I'm kind of loopy. I will say that one of these compared to one, say, tequila soda, the R13 will fuck up my verbal acuity or my ability to speak much more than
Yeah, that's all you're really looking for.
than the real alcohol. So it's perfect for this
At the end of the
podcast.
day, you just want to be slurring your words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this stuff also per can, I have found to throw off your physical coordination a lot more than an equivalent single alcohol drink.
Typically, I think ketones is like, okay, I'm going to
Yep.
chug a bottle pre-workout. So, I mean, I guess you could go lifting right now, drunk lifting if you wanted to.
No, this would be terrible for performance. This is bad for performance. I mean, well, let's put it a different way.
I'm curious though, you mentioned how quick, it puts you on, your words just flow like butter. Like, would it help in a situation like that? Do you think? Have you tried it? Ketones when translating?
For translating, I'm sure it would help if you're using the right class of ketone, because when we're talking about ketones, you have ketone esters, you have ketone salts,
Right.
And I'm not qualified to talk about the intricate science of it all. Someone like Dr. Dominic D'Agostino, who I've had on the podcast at least twice, is one of the preeminent researchers in the space who also works with, I want to say the Department of Defense, might be DARPA, in synthesizing compounds for special forces and Navy
Yeah, I
SEALs
was
and so
going to
on.
say, the SEALs using it at some point.
Right. And so they need measurable benefit.
Mhm.
And one of the measurable benefits is that it helps you to sustain physical and cognitive performance under conditions of low oxygen.
They prefer them over carbohydrates. Is that right? Or glucose? Is that right?
I've heard that said. I don't have that much difficulty believing it from a first person perspective when I've done extended fasts, especially.
Mhm.
The ketones provoked, or maybe it's just the spectrum of changes provoked by fasting, say on day 2 or 3, where my ketones will naturally be in the 1.5 to 2.5 millimolar range. That condition feels different, and I feel sharper than I do when I use exogenous ketones, supplemental ketones, to get to the same measurement using a single device. And I'm not sure why that is, but it feels different. You feel much sharper when you get there through fasting, in my experience.
Yeah.
And that is to say, not all ketones are created equal. So this right here is going to make you slur your words and shit the bed from a performance perspective, but might be fun as an experimental ethanol replacement.
What about if you're just doing it for mental performance? Like, is there the one brand that I know had licensed the patents from somewhere in England was HVMN?
Yeah,
you know
HVMN. I do. I believe that they are very focused on this particular type of ketone, the R13. I don't want to say that with great conviction, but I would say to everyone, you owe it to yourself because you're putting something in your body that is going to have, one way or the other, could have a significant impact on your blood chemistry and your entire biological system.
Yeah, but we just want to know what you're taking, dude. Just tell us the brand. What are you juicing up with in the morning?
What am I juicing up with?
Like, what did you take before the podcast? What's the brand?
Yeah, I'll grab it. Hold on a second. I'll grab it.
Okay. I'll entertain you all while Tim is gone. So what Tim doesn't know is we've secretly replaced his ketones with
diabetic horse urine. I love it.
Exactly.
So this right here, you know what? The details are not, the specifics are not on the back of this. It's on the back of a larger box, but the label does not scream scientific credibility, but it's a fun label. So this right here, it's going to be a little hard to see. The label reads Ketoneaid. So that is the brand snake water, ketone ester and electrolytes. So it's ketone ester plus electrolytes. The brand name is Ketoneaid, one word, snake water. I want to be super clear though, because I think people can fuck themselves up with these things. I am not a doctor. I do not play one on the random show or on the internet. Do your reading and talk to your doctor, because there are people for which something like this would be contraindicated.
Yeah, I mean, to pretend like alcohol is, it's just, totally.
Yeah, come on. Anything you put in your body that provokes a change, that's a drug. Banana, ketone, tequila,
for sure.
Prescription medication, they're all drugs.
Every time I talk to Atia about alcohol or anyone on his team, they're just like, don't do it. Why? It's just so bad. It's the worst. It's so bad for you.
And yet, sometimes you just want to have a drink. Sometimes you just want to have a drink.